everyone, and thanks for tuning in to BEaTS Research Radio, a podcast and YouTube channel that aims to disseminate science and research to the community. My name is Nicole Chu, and I'll be your host on today's episode. This episode invites an associate professor from the University of Ottawa community and two early career Ukrainian graduate students to share their experiences and the resources they found helpful supporting scientists from Ukraine. So I'd love to start off by introducing our first guest, Valeriia Kolesnyk, a student from Kharkiv who is coming to Canada in 2022 to complete her master's degree at the University of Ottawa. Firstly, Valeriia, Russia's invasion on Ukraine has affected millions of innocent Ukrainians, including scientists. As an early career researcher yourself, what are some of the challenges that you have faced coming to Canada today?
Hi everyone. I would like to introduce me. Firstly, yes, I'm a former student of Kharkiv University of Radio Electronics, and I graduated as a Bachelor of Software Engineering in this June, and also I worked as a Business Analyst for 2 years in IT company. And yes, on the day war began, I was in Kharkiv, and I woke up because of explosions. Then my dad picked me up to my hometown in also Kharkiv region, and we lived without water, power supply, with airstrikes, explosions above our house. And from time to time, I had thoughts that my family and I wouldn't survive. It was actually the scariest time of my life, and now my hometown is occupied for I think 100. I think now is 50 days, and people here are disappearing, and our apartment is destroyed. When I was under occupation, our family decided to take a risk and to go out of this place. And on the way, the cars of this civilian population were fired on, and we just were afraid that we will be these people, that we will be fired. But we were lucky, and after we escaped from this place, my brother and we went to Poland, and now I'm an official guardian of my brother, because our parents in Ukraine. About Canada, I haven't planned to study here, and just it's my life gave me a chance, because in the beginning I thought that it's like no, I haven't found no opportunities, because I haven't had a time to search for it, and as I understood, the deadline for the application for University of Ottawa was in March, and the war started in February. So I wrote to some official email, I think, and they said that I need to apply as a general student, but I wrote to many universities, but I couldn't afford to apply for many universities. And when I met Mr. Gerlin, and after some discussion, I decided to apply to one program that I could afford to apply for.
Oh, I see. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us, Valeriia. Your resilience is definitely very immensely inspiring. Now, Myroslava, you are a Ukrainian international master's student at the University of Ottawa. Having started your master's in 2021, can you share with us your experience as a Ukrainian international student and how your life is going now after Russia's invasion in Ukraine?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking this question. So I was in Canada when war started, and since that time, my life has become like a nightmare. It's still pretty much like that, because my every morning starts from checking news, and seeing which cities were shooted tonight. Although after that, I know that it's time to go and work, because I know that I'm a representative of Ukraine, and probably lots of people will associate Ukraine with me. So all I can do is to be the best scientist here as I can. Other guys can do impossible things there, so I can do everything possible here. And also I can say that I got like lots of support from people from my lab. Like for some time, it is the only social circle where I hang out. I feel guilty to go enjoy my life somewhere outside, but I found my lab mates like super, super supportive, and I'm very happy to be in the environment where I am. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about the University of Ottawa. I don't think that I got enough support. I feel like university could do a little bit more. And I had like an issue with mental health support where I reached them, and in the email, instead of bar, they call it a crisis, when even Canada government recognized it as a genocide. So I think that if I didn't try to find somewhere support external, if I wasn't enough proactive, the university help wouldn't be sufficient enough.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Now for our next guest, Dr. Augusto Girolin, who is a Canada Research Chair and Associate Professor at U Ottawa. Dr. Girolin, I understand that you have been recruiting students from Ukraine to your lab. Can you share with us some of the main challenges in this process?
Thank you for the question, Nicole, and thank you also for hosting this panel. I think that this is very important. So like around 5 months ago, I guess like the date today of this panel is quite symbolic, because it's like 5 months to the start of the invasion of Russia in Ukraine. So like more or less like 5 months ago, I started receiving like a lot of applications from very talented students from Ukraine, willing to move. And I really admire their force, because for me it was incredible that like the first reaction that they have after leaving the country or after surviving is thinking about their education. And I started discussing with colleagues working in North America, but also in my faculty, on ways that we could accommodate those students and integrate them in the university system. And like what I can say that goes in the direction what Myroslava and Valeriia also mentioned, is that like after 5 months, there are very little that the University of Ottawa has done to create like a suitable environment for them. So, and what I mean like a suitable environment, what was like the kind of bar that we could aim for? So like if you look like to some other universities in North America or in Europe, like I don't know if you have the chance, but we could also put a link in the description. So if you open, for example, just to be concrete, the website of the University of Pisa, there is a web page dedicated for Ukrainians with a special program to Ukrainian students come to study in Pisa. And basically, if you are a student in Ukraine, you receive accommodation at the university residence, you have access to the university canteen, you have free Italian courses, you can follow any course at the University of Pisa, you have like no tuition fee, you don't need to pay any fees at the university, and in addition, you get some pocket money. And this goes until December. And I think that is the minimum that we should aim for, until like those students could find their own way. And what I found very frustrating is that like we don't have a lot of resources to help many of them, because of the lack of information and the lack of support from the university. Like we don't have a dedicated web page, and like we have very little information. And as Valeriia mentioned, sometimes like the information that we find on the website is like outdated, do not correspond to exactly what is possible to do.
So as Myroslava and Valeriia mentioned earlier, do you have any suggestions for new students on how they should reach out to you, in your opinion?
Like I guess not only reach out to me. So I think that like the best way of the way of like maximizing your chances of being integrated in the university system is try to look online on the profile of professors that you feel that corresponds to your scientific profile. So a professor that you'd like to be mentored from, and contact this professor directly. Because although there is no support like at the institutional level, professors can apply to governmental scholarships that can alleviate a little bit the burden. So like that kind of scholarship is not gonna cover all the living expenses and the tuition fees, but at least it can be a starting point, allowing students to enter in the university system. And there are like many channels, so you can find like professors looking on the website, on the university website, to understanding like if the topics are of your interest or not. And also there is a portal that is called Science for Ukraine, when there are many offers for people who are willing to recruit like students and researchers for Ukraine.
Okay, so now that we've learned a bit about all of your backgrounds and you've all brought up great points about this topic, I'd like to ask a more general discussion question for all three of you, so all feel free to answer. So moving forward, what can be done? I know we've touched on a bit of it already, but what can be done to support Ukrainian scientists who are coming to Canada? So Valeriia, would you like to start us off on your opinion?
Yeah, sure. I would like to tell you about my way, because I actually don't know any general, ways to get in touch with some universities. As it was in my case, I got the contact of Mr. Gerlin, and through my friend, and I have contacted him to his email. And I can say that the Ukrainians now and Ukrainian students, they don't have a perfect mindset, for searching some opportunities, because we need to apply for visa, we need to support our family, we need to support our country, we need to collect donations for our country, and there are so many things that we need to do, and you just don't know when you will do it. And I haven't found the sources where I could get this full information for applying for a particular program, but I know that some universities in Canada, they allow to pay Ukrainian students a domestic fee, not for a fee for international students, but unfortunately, it's not the University of Ottawa. From my experience, directly contacting the professor was crucial to apply for a program and being accepted. And also, I would like to mention that international students think that your international fees are super high and we cannot afford it, and actually I'm not sure that I will be able to continue my studies in Canada, because I have only fees to cover my first year, not like all the years of studying.
And you mentioned how you reached out directly to the professor. Did you go on a faculty website, find their email, and send a personalized message with your information?
When I went to a faculty website and I sent a message, I got the answer that I need to apply as a general student, and some, general answer, not not according to the situation. So my friend told me that there is a super kind, supportive professor that could help you and so on, but no, I hadn't found the information that I could, write to some email and I will get the help. It's just like the information from my friend.
Oh, okay, so definitely more information online. And Myroslava, do you have any opinion on what can be done to better support other scientists coming to Canada from your perspective?
Yeah, I would like agree with Valeria. Probably, I think that the biggest challenge which we are facing is to cover fees. They are like extremely high, especially when we compare the rate of international and domestic fees. It's just like to make sure that we are all on the same page. So one domestic student, they should pay 9,000 per year, and international students pay around 26,000 per year, 27,000 per year. So here I feel like we run into a problem. If we want to be focused on our research, we need to have like somewhere a source of money. Like, oh, of course, like we can go to work, but like at the same time, like we'll be focused enough on our research. Is it what we really want to do? This is like the biggest thing which I would mention here.
And in your perspective or a past experience, do you have any like organizations or clubs you joined when you first came to Canada that helped you integrate to the new environment?
Yeah, just like in general, I don't think that it's going to be a problem, because I would say that Canadians and Ukrainians share a lot of similar values, and people here are extremely nice. So I felt a lot from my lab mates. I'm surrounded by very nice roommates. So I don't think that any like integration issue will be here. And also I'm sure that Canadian people like will do everything to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. So it's the same for us. That's it.
Absolutely. And Dr. Jerolin, do you have any opinion on what can be done to better support scientists?
And no, like I guess the most important part is like that the decision makers of our university, like remember that we have like a very ambitious plan on internationalization, that like U Ottawa has also like developed like a very deep program on facing challenges in our society. And this is a perfect moment to make those plans in action. We needed to remember that like is the role of the university also to take part of the integration of these students in the Canadian society. So that is one of the fundamental roles of the university. So we speak a lot about inclusion, and now is really the moment to do something very concrete. So like as Myroslava said, like I don't believe that those students don't have the talent. Those students are very strong. Many of them have both like academic and industrial experience. The only thing that they need is like equal conditions to develop their work. So like Canada has a great reputation of being like a very welcoming country. I think like the community of Ottawa has been amazing on hosting Ukrainians or welcoming like with open arms all families arriving to Canada. And I'm very sorry that this is not the same at our university. So it seems that our university is being very little Canadian in this respect. So, and I think that is I guess that is the main point. So like the professors individually are trying to do their best, but like the kind of impact that every single professor can make is very little compared of the kind of impact that a decision from the university can be done.
So definitely a more institutionalized and organizational effort. So I have one last question for you, just a broad question. For all of you, do you have more like pieces of advice, like maybe for Valeriia, one central piece of advice that you'd give someone right now based on your experience, like supporting scientists from Ukraine, like anything that you think would have helped you while you were applying, or in Myroslava's case, any words of wisdom from your experience as an international student so far? And I think Valeriia, we can start with you if you'd like to share.
Mhm. Um, Actually, I can mention that what would help me is like, page with information that, for example, for Ukrainians, you could apply without the deadlines, and there are some programs, and I don't know how will the process will be with some fees. Will we pay international? Now we pay international fees, but I don't know how it will go further. But some web pages with the information for Ukrainians, it would help us, because as I said, like we don't have much time to search and to write, every professor that could assist us.
And Myroslava, if you would like to share as well, feel free.
I would be very short. I would just say, fight and you will get what you want.
Well, thank you so much, Valeriia, Myroslava, and Dr. Julian for joining us today and for sharing your experiences. It was definitely an honor to speak with you guys and hearing your personal stories.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity to speak.
And thank you to all BEaTS Research Radio listeners for your time and for joining us today. We hope this episode will inspire you to continue to support and stand with Ukraine. And on behalf of our entire radio team, Dr. Emilio Alarcon, our radio director, we hope to see you all next week. Thank you.